The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Another shooting has rocked the nation. This time a man on a rampage spraying bullets through the walls of a Northern California elementary school. There's two elements of this I want to focus on. The first is just to applaud the individuals, and there were some adults involved who let the school know what was potentially happening. The school was able to lock their doors, and they got the kids under their desks and potentially saved tens of hundreds of lives. Yes. We do not know how bad this could have been. 5 deaths is way too many, but some smart people saved lives on this day.
Such a good point.
So kudos to them.
I mean, it's a shame that it's come to that we have to be prepared to such an extent for these events, that we have to be so vigilant, and that we're proactive, we warned, and the school was ready to do the right thing. They had policies and procedures in place to lock the place down and keep the kids out of harm's way.
Let's talk about the other angle of this story, which I found to be the most disturbing, is that this was an individual who had been arrested for attacking a woman. Yeah. He was an individual who was not supposed to have access to guns, and yet he had 3 weapons, one a semi-automatic rifle, 2 handguns. That is a big story here to me. Here's an individual who has been red flagged as a potentially dangerous member of society. Right. What he did to shoot people at random shows to me obviously some major psychological issues. There are the domestic issues, but we have to figure out how this man came into having 3 weapons on him that day.
Right. I mean, that's a big issue, and we need to identify what psychologically in somebody's history is making them do this behavior and nip it in the bud.
Right, and it's really sad because between 2009 and 2016, there's been over 156 mass shootings. And out of those, 54% of them involve some kind of domestic dispute or violence. So that is a trigger and warning sign. Although it is sort of like looking for the needle in the haystack, because these are still very rare. We do find that there is a disproportionate number of them who have very severe untreated mental illness. And the ones that we find that are the most prominent are psychotic illnesses, where they have these delusions of grandeur and conspiracy theories that were untreated for a long time, and also co-occurring substance abuse. As we know, sometimes substances can make you become more violent or aggressive and act more impulsively. And so this really does speak to how much are we really looking at our loved ones, because even the sister of the shooter says, I know he was deteriorating mentally and we just didn't know what to do to help him. And we also know that he has a violent temper.
Well, and again, it gets back to one of the things that I was surprised by. When I chose to go into emergency medicine, I thought I was going to be treating primarily individuals who were in accidents, unexpected outcomes. What I did not realize is how much mental illness I would be treating. Yes. And for people who have not been exposed to the mental illness that is pervasive in our society, you can't really understand how difficult it is to get these individuals the treatment they need.
So hard.
To get them not only into a safe place for themselves, but to prevent this from happening. It is a massive problem, and there are not enough resources. The mental illness is largely pushed under the rug in our society. Most people do not have to deal with this because they go to work and they don't understand it, they don't see it. If you see mental illness, you begin to realize how big the problem is. And I don't have the answers. I wish I did. I don't. I just know that this needs to be talked about more because this will continue to happen. And it happens more in our country than anywhere else.